Pennsylvania has one of the best collection of roller coasters and theme parks in America, with roughly 57 roller coasters in the state of Pennsylvania. It is no doubt one of the juggernauts when it comes to roller coasters. And today I'm going to review my top 25 roller coasters in the state and let you know why I feel this way. And some of it may surprise a lot of you, but feel free to comment what you think. If you feel that, I left something out that you feel was worthy of a top 25, don't hesitate. Comment below. I appreciate it. Like I said, this is just my list, my opinion. Everybody has one. So I'm going to kind of hustle through the first few here, but number 25 is Exterminator, located at Kennywood, and it was built by RAVINE Industries. It's basically a dark, spinning wild mouse coaster, but it gives it that cool aspect that it's in the dark. You have no idea where you're going, so it was a pretty cool ride. But moving on is Kingdom Coaster, and that's located at Dutch Wonderland in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It was built by CCI. In fact, it was their first coaster they ever built, and it has some great airtime moments. It is one of the best kiddie coasters I've ever been on as far as wooden ones go. So, number 23, Racer, located at Kennywood. It is one of the oldest operating roller coasters in the world, opening in 1927, and it is known for its Mobius loop, which is something you do not see much. Moving on to number 22, and that is SOOPERDOOPERLOOPER. Everybody from Pennsylvania's very first roller coaster. I know it was mine. This thing has a lot of history. It was built by Schwarzkopf, but Intamin actually, this was one of their very first roller coasters they worked on. This is Thunderbolt, and it was originally Pippin back in 1924, and then they changed the name in 1968. So this is a very old roller coaster, still offers a punch. One of the things I didn't like about it was the fact that you had to be 52 inches and have a partner to ride. But other than that, great coaster. Number 20, the Comet, located at Hershey Park, and this was built by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company, and it's the oldest roller coaster at Hershey Park. It could use some track work, or I would probably have this ranked a little bit higher, but great coaster though. So number 19 is Jackrabbit, and this is an excellent wooden coaster. Some of the best ejector airtime with that double downhill. That thing is awesome. I strongly recommend, if you ever get to Kennywood, this is one that you just have to ride. Built in 1920, one of the oldest roller coasters in Pennsylvania. So coming in at number 18, Possessed, located at Dorney Park, and this is one of the Intamin impulse coasters, reaching speeds of 70 miles an hour. It has an LIM launch system, and it has that awesome vertical spike, which everybody loves. I think this is a fantastic coaster. I wish they'd come out with newer models just like this. So number 17, that would be Talon, located at Dorney Park as well, opening in the year 2001. It's a B&M inverted coaster, reaching speeds of about 58 miles an hour. I know a lot of you are wondering, well, what about Great Bear? And yes, I think Great Bear is a little bit of a better coaster than Talon. I'm not crazy about any inverted coasters, so take it with a grain of salt. But moving on to number 16, and that would be Great Bear. Located at Hershey Park, one of the cool things about this roller coaster is B&M and Hershey Park actually designed this coaster to have that unique sound, that it actually sounds like a bear as it's going by you, which is really cool. So number 15, we have Skyrocket, located at Kennywood. And this first opened in 2010, and it has a 50-mile-an-hour launch, up a top hat, some really great airtime moments. This is a really fun coaster for one of the smaller coasters out there, but definitely worth checking out when you get to Kennywood sometime. I really enjoyed this one. So our number 14 coaster, and that would be Impulse, located at Knoebels in Elysburg, PA. And this thing packs a punch. I mean, it has 4 inversions. I love the seat restraints. They are incredible. Who does not like a lap bar on an intense roller coaster like this one? It sits at about 100 feet. It first opened in 2015, and it was built by Zaire. So moving on to number 13, HYDRA the Revenge, located at Dorney Park. And I gotta say, this thing offers some really unique inversions, especially the one right out of the station. It offers 7 inversions, and this B&M Floorless is an awesome coaster. It's a must-do when you go to Dorney Park. So number 12, Lightning Racer, located at Hershey Park. And let me tell you, I would have this thing ranked a lot higher if it wasn't for the fact that it doesn't seem to duel much anymore. It seems like Thunder is always winning. But other than that, it needs a little bit of retracking and stuff, but this is a great GCI. So moving on to number 11, Phoenix, located at Knoebels. Now I understand everybody thinks this is the best wooden roller coaster in the world, and it is a great coaster. I am not bashing this coaster at all. It offers some good airtime. It is not as great as everyone says it is, but it is a great coaster. However, I just think there's a lot better out there as far as wooden coasters go, but I would even say this is not the best wooden coaster at Knoebels, which is going to bring us to number 10, and that would be Twister. And this thing was quick, man. Some really awesome bank turns. They did a bunch of retracking, as you can see, and this thing was running really smooth. This was built in park by Knoebels, and I gotta say, I was very, very impressed this year when I just rode on it, and this thing flies through some of those turns. Moving on to number 9, Fahrenheit, located at Hershey Park. This is an Intamin vertical lift coaster, and the best way to describe this thing is basically Maverick meets a Gerstlauer, because this thing offers some really unique, quick little transitions. So my number 8 coaster is Steel Force, located at Dorney Park. And I gotta say, the first drop is okay. I mean, who doesn't like a 200-foot hyper coaster? But where it really shines is the second half of this ride. After this brake run, there's a lot of nice ejector air time there, and I gotta say, I was very surprised with how smooth this ride was for its age, and one of the smoothest Morgan hyper coasters I've ever been on. So my number 7 coaster is Storm Runner at Hershey Park, and this thing has a very intense launch. It's one of the earlier Intamin launch coasters, and I gotta say, if it wasn't for the awesome launch, this thing has a very odd layout, and it's very short. It's like a 35-second ride. I mean, it's just over with real quick. Other than that, great coaster though. So my number 6 is Ravine Flyer 2. This 120-foot drop right over top of the main road there is intense. It offers some really strong lateral forces and a lot of airtime. I think it has about 10 airtime hills, And I just really love this coaster. I think it's the best wooden coaster in the state of Pennsylvania. It was built by the Gravity Group, and it actually has Philadelphia Toboggan trains on it, so that's cool. So number 5, and that would be SKYRUSH at Hershey Park. This Intamin winged hypercoaster is one of the best coasters at Hershey Park, and I gotta say, this thing, if it wasn't for the restraints and how many people they bother, I would have this thing at like number 2. But unfortunately, when it bothers everybody that you're riding with, it makes the experience for you that much less enjoyable. But filled with airtime, it's absolutely one of the best creations Intamin ever made. I just wish it was a little bit longer. Number 4, Steel Curtain, located at Kennywood. This is probably one of the most intense coasters on the list, with 9 inversions, the most in North America, the tallest inversion at 198 feet, and this thing is an S&S masterpiece. They did an awesome job on this thing, theming it after the Pittsburgh Steelers. Its only downside is a lot of times they only run one train, but you have to try this coaster out. So coming in at number 3, CANDYMONIUM, located at Hershey Park. It sits at 210 feet, and this thing is awesome, packed with airtime. I love this coaster. It's one of the best coasters at Hershey Park. Up until this year, it was the top dog, and this B&M is pretty much my second favorite B&M hypercoaster next to Mako, but gotta get on that thing. It's awesome. Sitting at number 2, and that would be Phantom's Revenge. And this thing is located at Kennywood, offers some of the strongest ejector airtime. That second hill, and you go down through that ravine, it is awesome. I love this coaster, and I wish there was more just like this, but this thing is truly one of a kind. You just do not see coasters like this anymore. And of course, number 1 is WILDCAT'S Revenge. And Hershey Park and RMC did an excellent job when building this. I did not think it would be as awesome as it turned out to be. That drop, I loved it. All the inversions, 4 of them. That underflip was awesome. The airtime, the sideways airtime, that awesome airtime hill right underneath the 0G stall. It was an incredible coaster, and definitely the best coaster in Pennsylvania. If you thought that my list was decent or you didn't like it at all, whatever, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you would change on your list, and just let me know what you think about the coasters in Pennsylvania, because I think this state has one of the most stellar lineup of coasters out there. California has some great ones, Ohio of course, but Pennsylvania has a solid lineup, and I would be very interested to see what others thought. Thank you so much.